webinar today on GSTR 9 and 9C is very important for financial year 21-22. We all know last date is 31st December 2022, and we will try to make it easy for all of us together. A lot of if and buts when we are filing GSTR 9 and 9C. We are giving last try. PSD Chamber of Commerce Indirect Tax Committee is proactive committee, and we always try to provide handholding to the taxpayer and tax professional both together. My objective in welcome remarks with theme presentation is to ignite your mind and get set ready. You may have number of queries, no doubt about it. And we are getting different answer. Problem is that having number of queries, having different answer, sometimes we are struggling with what should be followed and what should not be followed. So, but objective is, which we must try to understand, this 9 and 9C is nothing but you are reconciling your outward supply and input tax credit alongside taxes paid by the taxpayer. So important GST return, GSTR 1, which is outward supply statement. GSTR 2A and 2B is the credit statement auto-populated with the GSTR 1 furnished by the supplier, and GSTR 3B, the consolidated monthly return, where we are disclosing our outward supply, ITC, and correspondingly we are paying the taxes either through e-credit ledger or through e-cash ledger. Having said that, let me start with my theme presentation. Some of the pointers which I want to give it to you, and you must make a note of it. First, who is required to file GSTR 9 annual return? If your aggregate turnover is up to 2 crore in 21-22, it is exempted. There was dispute in the trade, is optional. No, it is exempted. You need not require. If your aggregate turnover is in between 2 crore to 5 crore in 21-22, compulsorily you have to file GSTR 9. And it is per GST number. So maybe you're having 4 registration and aggregate turnover is nothing but a turnover which is calculated sum total basis on PAN. That is how it needs to be calculated, which includes taxable supplies, exempt supplies, and your export turnover. So if you have taken registration and you're having 4 registration, then of course GSTR 9 required per registration batch, 2 to 5 crore compulsorily GSTR 9. What about GSTR 9C, which is reconciliation statement, which was earlier to be certified by practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant? It is now self-certified and to be filed only when aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore in 21-22. So I've given you who is required to file. What is the last date? We all know 31st December 2022. Sometime at the fag end, when last date is coming up, we start sounding that will there be any extension of due date? My humble submission to all of you would be, don't demand extension of due date. Because extension of due date for filing GSTR 9 and 9C has got ramification within the GST law. Like section 73, which is a non-fraud case, and section 74, which is fraud case. There's a time limit prescribed for passing the order, and that time limit is 3 years in section 73, 5 years in section 74 from due date of furnishing annual return. So if we are demanding extension in due date, then this time period again get extended for passing the order. And for issuing so-called notice under section 73 and 74, it is at least 3 months prior to the date of passing of order for 73 and 6 months for section 74. So we should not demand. Section 36 also talks about retention of books of accounts, 72 months from due date of furnishing annual return. So any extension demanded for due date for furnishing annual return has got ramification. Rather, we should demand a waiver of late fees and penalty. But we should be ready by 31st December. Second point. Coming to the third important point. What is GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C? GSTR 9 is the annual return divided into 6 parts and 19 tables. And GSTR 9C is the reconciliation statement which is self-certified by the registered person, divided into 5 parts and 16 tables. So what is important for all of us? First of all, we have to sit down with our books of accounts, and we have to check our outward supply, inward supply subject to RCM when we are paying liability as a recipient, and certain advances for supply of services. We are GST leviable for some services, not for goods. And then correspondingly, we have to check our ITC, input tax credit, and we are paying the taxes. So from books, we should determine our outward supply, our credit, and taxes paid. And that should be reconciled when we are talking about outward supply with GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. When I'm talking about credit, then book credit versus GSTR 2A, which is dynamic credit statement, or GSTR 2B, which is static credit statement. But what is the relevance? I will discuss a little later, but 2A and 2B. With GSTR 3B, where you are availing credit, that reconciliation to be made before starting preparation of GSTR 9 and 9C. Next point. I'm going to give you some flavor. I'm not going to discuss all the technical points because 3 technical experts, Tusarji, Pavanji, and Shivam is there. They are going to make technical presentation. But my objective is you should be ready that there are many questions coming out. I will touch base 2-3 points and then I will finish my theme presentation and will hand over the session to the technical expert for their deliberation. Listen this point. When we look at GSTR 9, which is divided into 19 tables in 6 parts, what are the themes which you should keep to your mind? We are talking about 21, 22. So first, outward supply, on which tax is payable, pertaining to 21, 22. Shown in the period 21, 22, then table 4 is important. 21-22 की outward supply, आपने 21-22 के GSTR 1 and 3B में दिखाई है. Table 4 is important. Where outward supply is there, but tax is not payable. So exempted supplies, even your export or supply to SEZ without payment of tax, pertaining to 21-22, shown in 21-22, table 5 is going to be important. 21-22 की turnover, जिस पर टैक्स पे नहीं किया और आपने 21-22 के GSTR 1 and 3B में दिखाई है. Table 5. Corresponding taxes which is paid through GSTR 3B, 21-22 का जो भी outward supply आपने 21-22 में दिखाया, GSTR 9 के टेबल 9 में आप दिखाएंगे. So pertaining to 21-22, tax payable as per GSTR 3B and tax paid as per GSTR 3B of 21-22 paid in 21-22. Table 9. If there is any incremental liability on account of adjustment or debit note in outward supply pertaining to 21-22, but shown in a period of April 2022 to October 2022. So 21-22 की आउटवर्ड सप्लाई कोई एडजस्टमेंट आपने किया हो या कोई डेबिट नोट आपने रेज किया हो 21-22 से रिलेटेड, बट कब रेज किया? अप्रैल 22 से लेके अक्टूबर 2022 तक। इसको आप टेबल 10 में दिखाते हैं। टेबल 10 इज इंपॉर्टेंट। When there is decrease in liability because of adjustment or credit note issued in a period April 2022 to October 2022, but pertaining to outward supply of 21-22. We saw in table 11 of GSTR 9, and corresponding adjustment of taxes because of table 10 and table 11 goes in table 14. This is pertaining to outward supply. Correspondingly, GST input tax credit becomes important. Credit of 21-22 shown in 21-22 in GSTR 3B, table 6 of GSTR 9 is important. There you will furnish all the data. And reversal, which is pertaining to 21-22 and reverse in 21-22. Table 7 is important. And table 8 again with certain transaction pertaining to 21-22 to be shown in table 8. Now what happened? Credit of 21-22 you did not avail in 21-22. You avail in the period April 22 to October 22. Availed. Which table is important? Table 13 of GSTR 9. Similarly, you are reversing credit pertaining to 21-22, but in a period April 22 to October 22. Table 12 is important, and corresponding effect of table 12 and 13 will go to table 8C of GSTR 9. So this is the first point you should keep to your mind. Let me start with certain questions so that you can really get yourself prepared. What happened? There was some transaction today on 21st December 2022 we are sitting, and we come to know there was certain outward supply of 21-22. We did not show in 21-22. We did not show in April 22 to October 2022. हमने दिखाया ही नहीं, आज मालूम पड़ा 21-22 की टर्नओवर थी, किस टेबल में दिखाएंगे और taxes pay करना है. This become important, right? I'm just giving food for thought. Answer is table 4. You need to plug, you need to furnish this data, and correspondingly liability gets created in table 9, tax payable, which you need to pay through DRC 03. That is permitted. The same question will come for ITC, input tax credit of 21-22. You did not avail in 21-22, and the last date to avail credit for 21-22 is also expired 30th November 2022 as per section 16 subsection 4. Question will come, can we avail this credit when we are filing GSTR 9 and 9C? You can't avail credit through GSTR 9 and 9C. If 30th November gone and 3B pertaining to October 2022 is being filed, then this credit is a loss. So we have to be very careful. You can pay your outward supply liability, so in 9 and 9C, pay through DRC 03, that is through cash and credit, both permissible, but credit You can't avail through 9 and 9C. So I've given you this flavor. Let me move to next point. And I'm igniting your mind because these are the pointers. I'm getting number of queries. That's the reason I thought, let me take in my theme presentation. And I'm sure you'd be really checking out yourself whether these are the answer you have in your mind or not. Let's take the second one. Outward supply, it was, let's say, interstate supply. Delhi to Maharashtra. IGST leviable. But maybe when you are filing your GSTR1, you have wrongly furnished as an intra-state, CGST and Delhi SGST. Whereas transaction was interstate, IGST. Now you're filing 9 and 9C. What to be done? You have paid CGST and SGST, but transaction is an interstate transaction, IGST. So what correction need to be done? What is the window available to you? Go to table 4. Go to table 4. So your table 4 is the outward supply, and there is liability, right? Which you have shown wrongly as a C and S. Do minus this part, minus. Deduct this one and plus IGST. So you created liability for IGST and deducted CGST and SGST, which was wrongly furnished by you. What would be a fact in table 9? Tax payable, IGST payable is getting created, right? And there would be excess CGST and SGST paid. So you have to pay the IGST liability. Section 77 of CGST Act, read with section 19 of IGST Act, you have to pay the IGST liability. Next question corresponding to this may arise whether interest is leviable because you wrongly paid CGST and SGST. No interest, but IGST need to be paid. What happened for this C and S which paid and coming as excess? Go for refund. You can claim refund. And once you pay the correct tax, IGST, then within 2 years, you can file your refund claim, circular number 162 in September 2021, you can refer. So I told you for wrongly paid taxes. Let's go back in the hands of recipient. Let's say you happen to be a recipient. You happen to be a recipient and filing your 9 and 9C. You got invoice of interstate, IGST, Mumbai fellow, recipient, you are filing 9 and 9C. You got invoice of IGST in your hand, but you have wrongly availed the credit in wrong bucket C and S, GSTR 3B. You're having invoice of IGST, but you have wrongly availed in the bucket of C and S, GSTR 3B, which is getting auto-populated in table 6A of GSTR 9. So you know कि आपने क्रेडिट गलत ली है, क्रेडिट गलत अवेल की है. आपको लेना किस में था? I में. और लिया किस में आपने? C and S में. Table 6A will show credit in C and S. So table 6B, you can do one adjustment. What you can do adjustment? You can minus C and S because wrongly availed plus IGST credit. And by doing this adjustment, it is only in 9. 3B is gone for the period 21-22. With this adjustment, your table 8A of GSTR 9, which auto-populated through GSTR 2A, that is showing IGST because supplier has correctly filed. It is you who has taken in wrong bucket. So what happened? Table 8B, which is auto-populated from table 6B, where you corrected the transaction. You deducted C and S and added IGST, it will match. It will match. But here also one litigation may arise. Department will say, no, we will not allow this adjustment to you. You have wrongly shown in wrong bucket. So you reverse this one. And then question comes, IGST, time limit. A lot of things are there. My answer to all of you would be, I avail the credit in wrong bucket. So time limit condition was satisfied. I'm only making adjustment now. Whether adjustment permissible or not permissible, that may be a subject matter of litigation. But there is no harm if there is bigger amount. We must take a chance. It is only bucket. Of course, I know this bucket are important when revenue is being shared between center and state. But to error is human. Lot many things are happening in GST, and we have not gone into automated GST return system. So lot many mistakes we have seen in the past years, starting from 17, 18, could not be corrected for number of regions. So this was wrongly paid taxes. Let me take another part, which may be another point to note, that I'm a supplier, right? I file GSTR 1. Sometime I've wrongly furnished B2B transaction as a B2C. It is not coming in your 2A and 2B. You have availed the credit in 3B, it will not match, right? Because it's not coming in 2A and 2B. And I did not amend my GSTR 1 by specified due date, September of next financial year following the end of relevant financial year 21-22. I did not amend that. And from this Finance Act 2022, we all know that time limit is increased to 30th November. But I did not amend that. I wrongly furnished GST number of my recipient. It will not come in your 2A and 2B. It was an interstate supply, but wrongly furnished as an intra-state. It will come as an ineligible credit. I did not file my GSTR 1, but paid the taxes through GSTR 3B supplier. It will not come in 2A and 2B of the recipient. What happened in all such cases? All such cases. First, listen from supplier's angle. If supplier has wrongly furnished B2B as a B2C in 21-22, now he comes to know that he has made the mistake. Can he correct in GSTR 9? To my mind, possible. You can check table 4A and table 4B. You can deduct in table 4B, B2C, but add in table 4A, B2B. But with this process, the 2A, 2B of recipient will not get corrected. But at least your furnishing of transaction, supplier furnishing of transaction gets corrected. And what is the advantage now? What recipient can do? Recipient, and we all know that the 48th GST Council meeting has also acknowledged this fact, difference of 2A versus 3B. Credit is not coming in 2A for number of regions. And they have acknowledged and they have said they will issue a procedure, circular. Maharashtra circular is there, already circular is there. And the circular is saying that if you are satisfying a 4 condition of section 16, subsection 2, having invoice, recipient has received goods and services, supplier has paid the taxes, it was only wrong furnishing and which he did not amend. And last, being recipient, you are regularly filing your GST return. Then Maharashtra circular is saying you will get the credit. You need to get a certification done. And that is what GST Council in their 48th GST Council meeting has acknowledged. And they will issue a procedure for 17-18 and 18-19. That's what they have said. But this is relevant for 19-20 and 20-21. And another point which I can say that 2A in my submission for recipient is not dependent for availment of credit because 2A was brought by way of rule. There was no corresponding provision. And only from 1st January 2022, GSTR 2B is important. 2B is important, not 2A. And I can say safely that the credit in the hands of buyer is not dependent on GSTR 2A. You must avail credit and get this reconciliation preparation done. And this question is under litigation also. So many buyer and recipient denied payment to the supplier because supplier has wrongly furnished outward supply details in a GSTR 1. Can he amend the GSTR 1 so that getting auto-populated in GSTR 2A? And this matter has gone for litigation. Jharkhand High Court, Mahalakshmi Infra Contract, Calcutta High Court, TMC High Tech, favorable judgment. Telangana High Court, contrary judgment. Yokohama, India. But we must know that the Supreme Court Bharti Airtel judgment is saying 2A is only facilitation. And since we did not introduce automated GST return system, quite obvious, this supplier did not get that information that he has made the mistake. Had GST automated return system, GSTR 1, 2A, 2, 1A and 3 implemented, then this supplier could have come to know that he has made the mistake and he could have corrected. But since the system was not implemented, doctrine of impossibility, we have a fair case that recipient credit should not be denied. Let me take two more points because time is passing by. I will not take away the time of speakers today. Objective is you should get maximum of it. That's what I'm looking for. One is a spillover transaction. Spillover means transaction of 2021, financial year 2021, you have shown in the period April 21 to September 21, right? And for understanding sake, listen very carefully. Let's say you're having 10 lakh rupees outward supply of 21-22. But 2 lakh rupees turnover of 2021, we have shown in April 21 to September 21. So total is 12 lakh rupees. Your table 4 going to be auto-populated from GSTR 1 and it will show 12 lakh rupees, which you know that 2 lakh rupees pertaining to 2021. Question would be coming to your mind, what should I do? There is no column whereby I can bifurcate 2021 2 lakh and 21-22 10 lakh rupees. You're having this challenge, right? What to be done? Lot of suggestions coming from different corners. Somebody will say that you should pick up only 21-22 transaction, and that is editable field. So it is auto-populated with 12 lakh, but you make it 10 lakh. Somebody will say, no, you keep it 12 lakh here in GSTR 9, but in 9C, your book turnover would be 10 lakh. Turnover from 9 is 12 lakh. Difference would be explained in table 6 of 9C, that 2 lakh pertaining to 2021. Lot many things are available. Even for credit also, that there is some credit of 2021 shown in a period April 21 to September 21. So what happened? 3B will have, let's same example, 10 lakh plus 2 lakh. So 3B, which is data auto-populated from table 4A to table 6A of GSTR 9, will show 12 lakh rupees. But you know there is 2 lakh rupees pertaining to 2021. What to be done? Shall I keep it as it is? Shall I leave it as it is? Or shall I correct it? If I'm going to correct it, then table 6B will have 10 lakh rupees for 21-22. 2 lakh difference will come. Some of you may agree that it can be shown in table 6M. Some of you may not agree that it can't be shown in table 6M because they are reading it is only for ITC 02 and 03. To my mind, I can show in table 6M because other credit reference is also there. So total 12 lakh. And when you go to table 12A of 9C, book credit 10 lakh, 2 lakh rupees, which is of 2021 shown in 21-22, April to September. 12 lakh going from 9 will match. So we got so many alternative ways to do that. But there's one press release to make our life easy. Somebody, so many, when I'm catching up with number of participants, they come back to me and they ask me, which I'm also sharing with you. There's one press release issued on 9th of October 2020, pertaining to 1819. In that press release, it is being picked up that there may be a case when you're filing your 9 and 9C for 1819, there will be some spillover transaction of 1718, like similar example which I gave to you. And that press release is saying you should only mention your figure of 1819 in 1819 9 and 9C. And that press release continued to say that whatever of 1718, which is shown in 1819, it is there in 9 and 9C of 1718. So in 1819 9 and 9C, you should mention only figure of 1819. Can I rely this press release for 21-22? There is no harm. And I'm finding this 9 and 9C has got only number getting plus minus here and there. But sometimes we have to cross-check, verify, match. And that is what important is. You can definitely rely press release. There's no denial. And this press release was in spillover effect only.